like the younger children, they are working more out of the will, right? So teaching them knitting, it's a very much a will-formed activity, right? They learn it, they're doing it, they're learning through the will. And then from age, so that's kind of like the hands, because they're building their body. They're building the structure for their human life. And then, age 7 to 14, more around that time, is like the time of the feeling. It's the feeling time. So we can reach students through their feelings, like how they feel about something matters more. That's their strongest memories are of their feelings. So they can feel the touch of beautiful materials, okay? They can also feel, like if they work with wood, right? It's creating resistance, and they have that feeling. They can also feel beauty. So you can say to them, like, when you see this color, and then when you see these colors, like these colors in here, these colors are friends. They're friends because they're all similar. They're friends. But then if we bring this color in, like, they're not really friends, but there's something exciting because they're different. Mm-hmm. And so then we can work with color and through the feeling, not just through doing, right? And then age 14 and up, it's more like the head, right? Developing the intellect. So you're going to be doing more calculations in what you do. So that child in grade 8, in the curriculum, like they're an adolescent, they want to burst out. So we teach them about revolution. In Canada, that's sort of like industrial revolution works, or you can talk about the revolution, any revolution, right? But for the handwork curriculum, then to give them the sewing machine, it was a representation of a revolution in a way. And they're like, what? I can just put fabric in and look how fast it can sew. They already know how much work it is to sew everything by hand because they've done it. And now you're giving them a sewing machine, and wow. But then they realize it's out of control. It's so hard. You have to go back and learn it all again, because I'm going to just give you a piece of fabric and you're going to make a little bag. But wow, it's so hard to control that, because now I'm using my foot on a pedal, and it's a different kind of thinking. And I think also leading up to that is working with patterns. So in grade 6, we're making patterns to sew animals, right? And there's all these things you have to think about. It's like not really, you can draw a picture of an elephant, okay? And then how are you going to make that into a 3-dimensional elephant that looks like an elephant? So there's a little bit more thinking involved. And then in grade 7, I've been making the doll. And again, they learned how to make that pattern for the animal, but now they're coming closer to themselves. Okay, so it's the before in handwork, it was like, we're working with these materials, we're making this, we're making that, and then we made an animal, and we thought we were just sewing, right? It just felt like sewing and making something, and these drawings of the elephants we made. But then all of a sudden we start to like fall in love with that elephant, and by the time they're taking it home, it's like their elephant is, but it's like a representation of themselves. They've created themselves, right? And then when they go the next year to make the doll, they're making a human being, and it's much more personal. It's much more personal, and maybe it's not so conscious in them. They're not thinking about it, but they are taking more care. Sewing machine, just a little bit. They make the doll all by hand, but then they're going to make some clothing, and then just let them try a little bit on the sewing machine. And then in grade 8, they come and they have to kind of reorganize because now it's all on the sewing machine. Maybe some finishing by hand, but yeah. Does that answer